taking place, making that an hour going out to 355. Dan Ryan, 35 minutes to get to 95th. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State either way. The Jane Addams is okay, but eastbound Reagan and southbound 355, stop and go traffic. Traffic is a service of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle. For over 52 years, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, featuring styles ranging from modern to traditional. Visit woodlandwindows.com to get started today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 53. On Wednesday, it will be mostly sunny with a high of 81. Wednesday night will bring partly cloudy conditions with a low of 62. Thursday will be partly sunny and very warm with a high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love it, property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
There is a senator today by the name of Bennett, Colorado, who said in order to hold office, you have to have high character. Really? Aside from the ones that were caught stealing, how about the insider trading Ro Khanna, Nancy Pelosi? How about the political whores that sell their positions like Ileana Omar, Ayanna Pressley, AOC? And I knew when Mike Johnson defended all of it, he was a big problem.
The salary of Congress has been frozen since 2009. When you adjust for inflation, a member of Congress today is making 31% less than they made in that year.
And the reason you have inflation is all of your fault. All of these idiots who have destroyed the buying power with their ridiculous policies, their ridiculous spending. My next guest knows this all too well. You know why? He's as irritated about paying taxes as all of us who pay taxes. The difference is he's the vice president of research for the National Taxpayer Union Foundation. He's wicked smart, and I'm hoping he has a typo, but I don't think he does. Demian Brady, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? You hope I have a typo?
Yeah. You got to be kidding me, right? You're telling me members of Congress filed a lawsuit for retroactive salary increases? Are you kidding me?
It's a lot of people outside of D.C. don't know about this. Some people in D.C. don't even know about this. I've been trying to raise awareness of it. It was filed, I believe, in 2024, and the judge issued a partial ruling about a week and a half ago, generally taking the side of these lawmakers. So it's a handful of current and former lawmakers, and it's a class action suit. So if they're successful, this could provide pay increases for all members of Congress. It's pretty outrageous. We have a $39 trillion national debt. This is going to add to that significantly because if you look back at all those votes that Congress took to freeze congressional salary, that saved hundreds of millions of dollars. And then also, if they are successful, they're going to have a higher salary. So then they can go and say, hey, our congressional pensions are not calculated correctly because those are based on your highest average 3 years of salary. So they can go and get that recalculated and get higher benefits. So this is just massive liabilities.
And what about pensions? What about the low-life scum on pensions? Like we have one who used to rub his crotch with teenagers, Denny Hassert, who was the Speaker of the House, who did prison time, but his pension is astronomical. So now if this class action suit wins, in theory, wouldn't that also change the payout of people of political whores who are already retired and people who may be retiring? It changes the whole structure of all of it, doesn't it?
Exactly. They would all be able to go and petition to have their pension benefits adjusted upward because of a higher salary. It's a really ridiculous case, and I urge these members of Congress and the former members to drop their lawsuit because of the damage it will do to taxpayers and to the reputation of Congress, which already is pretty low.
Well, you got a better chance of urging a grizzly bear not to rip your arms off and beat you to death if you find them in the forest, the way I look at it. And I say this because in Illinois, which is completely and utterly shameful, bankrupt, $49.2 billion it gets every year from the federal government in what they say are reimbursements, and they pay off for illegal aliens, the medical, the dental, the social benefits, all the rest of it. They steal the money. And they just gave themselves in Illinois a raise to $128,000 when the individual single household Illinoisan median is $43,493. So do you think, Demian, people are going to realize it has nothing to do with any financial reality, any financial responsibility? And just in the last 17 years, the $30 trillion that's been added to the debt, the bulk of that money isn't even taxpayer money. It's future taxpayer money. It's debt. And the politicians enabled the pirates to steal the money, whether they're Somalian or fraudsters in California or from sea to shining sea. And I can't get over that they have the gall to do this as they destroy the quality of life for taxpayers.
And on top of that, they're really misconstruing the meaning of the 27th Amendment, which is the reason they're saying that they should have gotten these pay increases, because the 27th Amendment says that a member of Congress's salary can't be adjusted until after an election. So they can. It was designed to prevent self-dealing, and it was written by James Madison to stop members of Congress from enriching themselves without facing the taxpayers before any raise will go into effect. These votes were not for raises. These votes were to keep the salary the same, and so they're really.
And I don't take aspirin, Demian. I don't like taking medication. You're going to make me rub myself from Vicks from head to toenail here. When you look at what the recourse is of the American people, and you know the way in which this whole scheme of their money versus our money, their campaign contributions that they keep in perpetuity, you could go back to Dianne Feinstein or Harry Reid or any of these old thieves who died. Those campaigns are still living. Their family still has control of it. And in most cases, they're worth tens of millions of dollars in campaign coffers that they give to their family members. How in the world does this exist? Do the people have no recourse to at least go after that money, the money that they raise in order to steal policies and steer policies? Can we lay claim to the coffers of politicians? Can we work on campaign finance reform to the tune of we're taking your money going towards the national debt? I mean, each one of these political whores gets a $40,000, at least it used to be, it might be more now, $40,000 allowance to redo their office every single year. I mean, it's truly theft, political theft.
They have lots of perks here. They get that funding for their office and for their staffing. They get nice pensions. And there's another little perk that people don't generally know about. If a member dies while he's still in Congress, in addition to any survivor benefits, his heirs will receive a full year of his salary, which that's something else that should be reformed, because members of Congress tend to be very wealthy compared to the median across the country.
Well, it also goes to show the fraud, because if that was the case, then you would do what corporations do, right? If somebody has a very valuable position, the corporation takes out an insurance policy, and they make the heirs the beneficiary. So when you look at the basic financing, the basic economic literacy of these lawyers, of these buffoons, of these frauds, when you just look at the policy, they have no economic literacy, do they?
Yeah, it would be good to have a 101 course in economics for all incoming members of Congress. AOC claims that she was an economics major, but it doesn't seem that she understands a lot of the basic fundamentals.
Yeah. Yes, counting your tips in a strip joint doesn't make you an economics major, Demian. But, this is the issue, right? You have people who are supporting right now, and you have the ability for politicians to steer policies to the most economic failed areas, and it continues to grow and grow and grow. So when you just step back, and you were talking about your organization, right, the National Taxpayer Union Foundation, I don't see the win in the last 40 years for the honest man. I don't see a win for the citizen. It's far better to be in government, whether it's Illinois government, whether it's city government, whether it's federal government, than it is to be a taxpayer, a national taxpayer, isn't it? I mean, ultimately, we're going to have to recognize that we have a backdoor Soviet system where it's far better to be the government than the subject to the government.
Well, yeah, I would like to see the government rolled back. There's a lot of useless functions or things that really shouldn't be the responsibility of the federal government. Get rid of that, and then, if members of Congress were able to balance the budget through policies that either helped grow the economy and then also a combination of that along with cutting wasteful spending, then we can consider a raise. But until then, using a lawsuit to try to sue taxpayers, the people who are supposed to be serving for extra money, is really an affront. And that's why I encourage and hope that these members drop this lawsuit.
So who is actually moving forward? This would only be possible, in my opinion, if it were by the majority that hold the House. Or am I wrong? Can anybody? Who's leading the charge in this? Because if it's Mike Johnson, then I'm going to tell you what, it's more evidence that it doesn't matter who says they're in charge of the House or of Congress. They're going to always self-deal more than they're going to pay any obligation to the citizen. Who is at the forefront of this? Is there a name, or is it just ambiguity? Is it hidden from the American people?
Well, there are 7 people who are publicly on the lawsuit, including current representatives Jim Clyburn, a Democrat from South Carolina, Rick Crawford, a Republican from Arkansas, Steny Hoyer, a Democrat from Maryland, and then former members Rodney Davis, a Republican from Illinois, Tom Davis, a Republican from Virginia, Earl Perlmutter from Colorado, Democrat, and former Senator Mark Kirk from Illinois, also a Republican.
Oh, what a scoundrel Mark Kirk is. I mean, a scoundrel, steeped in scandal. And he's a huge lobbyist right now. So there you go. It goes to show you it is about the pensions. It's about the pensions and the forever money. And Mark Kirk is the definition of a failure. I could have ran a Boston Terrier against him to beat him. So this is the other aggravating part. Can any of the sitting members of Congress now nullify any of the scandal-ridden frauds like Mark Kirk or Denny Hastert? I'm going to use Republicans because they're the best example of scumbags, especially when they're Republicans. So I'm wondering, is there any scuttlebutt of sitting decent politicians that say this isn't right? Is anyone pushing against this other than you and the National Taxpayer Union Foundation?
There's also Representative Ralph Norman from South Carolina. He has a bill that would repeal the automatic pay increases for members of Congress, which is at the heart of this lawsuit. And I've also encouraged the House and the Senate, they could each pass a resolution informing the judiciary branch that these votes to freeze congressional salary are not inconsistent with the 27th Amendment. That would be a good way forward, in addition to these members dropping their ridiculous lawsuits.
You know what else is fascinating? If I'm not mistaken, I believe Donald Trump has given away his salary as president again this term. He did it the entire first term. He gave it away this term. How many politicians who are multimillionaires, not just the Democrat whores who were broke like AOC or Ayanna Pressley or Ileana Omar, how many politicians elected to office forego their salary? I'm curious. Do you know that?
That's a good question. I'm not aware of that.
So when you think about it, has there been another president? I think the last president that forego his salary, if I'm not mistaken, was JFK, right?
That's a good question, too. I have no idea.
I mean, it's just curious, right? I mean, you're a servant of the people. They're all worth millions of dollars. You know, Ro Khanna and the $170 million, I still find staggering, although it's evidence. Nancy Pelosi, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. At a certain point, should the taxpayers form a lawsuit themselves? And if so, isn't that something that the National Taxpayer Union Foundation can do? Have you ever thought about turning the organization from just an organization that gives completely valuable information and migraines? Have you ever thought about turning it into a weapon to sue on behalf of the national taxpayers?
Well, that's an excellent question. And we do have the Taxpayers Defense Center. We have a couple of attorneys on staff who get involved in litigation and amicus briefs at the federal level and at the state level. There's more information about their successes on our website at NTU.org. They do a lot of really good work.
I'd like to volunteer my name, and I want to sue everybody. You could put it under the Jerky Boys. I'd like to sue every congressman, every senator, every governor, every state politician that steals money, insider trades, and has no fiscal economic literacy whatsoever. How do you think I would do?
Well, good luck with that. But when you said sue everybody, the first thing that came to my mind was that classic Jerky Boys bit. So that's hilarious.
It's the absolute best. And you know, this is the thing about lawyers. I will never forget. A long time ago, I was talking to somebody in radio, and a wonderful guy. And we were going over this. He goes, well, how in the world could it be possible that they have given themselves not just advantages, but given themselves protection from any recourse? And therein is the problem. They are lawyers that have crafted through policy, regulation, and phony laws ways to hold themselves harmless from not just their financial irrational decisions and policies, but from any reality of taxation, from any reality of economic that affects every single one of us. There has to be in law some sort of a recourse that at least can give us some pillar to go after as they rob us, they insider trade us. This is a bipartisan thing. Mike Johnson, in that clip I was playing, defends insider trading, defends the idea that they can be bought. You have pharmaceutical companies that are giving senators millions of dollars a year. There has to be something that we can do. And I'm curious as to if there's more than just me, because I love your organization. I constantly go to it. This has to be something all decent people who earn their money are outraged, aren't they?
Yeah, everybody I tell about this lawsuit instantly becomes outraged. You know, a lot of Americans don't get automatic pay increases. And if you look at performance, there are some good members of Congress doing a lot of really good work on behalf of taxpayers. But overall, Congress spends way more every year than it collects in taxes. And we have a terrible deficit that we're kicking down the road every year to future generations of taxpayers.
Well, this is disheartening information, but it's information that must be given. And through membership at NTU.org, which is the name of your site, correct?
You got it.
Through membership at NTU.org, is it possible for people to volunteer themselves to be part of a suit that takes on this kind of ridiculous, these so-called rules and regulations, and the idea that they would be completely able to give themselves raises and make them retroactive and give it to pensioners who are convicted of molestation and other crimes? I mean, at a certain point, we either got to do something about it or all run for Congress, don't we?
Yeah. Contact a member of Congress. Let them know that this is a ridiculous lawsuit, and they should. The members of Congress should speak against it and inform the judiciary about the best way forward to interpret this for taxpayers.
Yeah, I like it. I also like the fact, like right now in Southwest Florida, we've got a moron named Jim Oberweis, who was an Illinois Republican. He's 80 years old. He's running for Congress down here, and I would say to myself, you know, at what point do you not run? At what point do you have a mirror in your house? Do you think about reality? And then you look at this. Why wouldn't you run? I mean, you are bound by nothing. He probably just wants to hide some of that those milkshake money in his campaign coffers. Well, the good news is, Demian, Brady, at least you give us the education and you tackle this. So I love the idea that you do the research and you put out the articles. How does everybody go to and support? Do you just go to NTU.org or do you sign up? Is there a membership fee? What do I have to do to get my name on that lawsuit?
Go right to NTU.org, and we have a donate button at the top of the website, and you can read more about us and all our work from myself and my colleagues at NTU and NTU Foundation.
Thank you for the nervous twitch in my eye. I hope it goes away by the end of the night. I appreciate the migraine. Thank you.
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you very much. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual